Okay. So yesterday, of course, I had some more interaction with the remaining students also. They expressed that this being the initial step to understand, some requested little more examples and an elaboration with some more examples. They asked for. Is it okay? Are you interested in having little more examples? Because that's the opinion I had from students. So I thought maybe okay, this being initial thing, maybe it can take 1 more hour or a couple of hours extra. But I thought I can give you bit examples, okay? Because this is a subject involved with lot of logic. So hence, okay. And but one more thing is, in certain aspects, you may not have the real deep concept at this stage. So don't be scared of that. I am not able to understand this completely. Okay. Because the reason is, whatever we are speaking in this section, this is the overview of the concepts. So once you go depth into that, you will have detailed concepts. So at least try to understand why that specific concept is there and what for it is there. Some minimum idea if you have, but still your doubts you can raise, no problem. But don't be scared of it. That's what I would like to tell you. Okay, because altogether a new concept for you totally. But it is not a tough thing. If you logically go ahead with, it will be quite interesting once you are into it. Okay. So so initially to make you understand, I'll give you an example. So yesterday night I just picked up one example and I made another PPT. Yesterday I given you the normal PPT from the textbook, but I made another presentation with a change. As per that I will be talking to you, okay? Because yesterday I just introduced you this. So if you look at yesterday, what we have understood is, just we have seen the evolution from 1950s onwards, convention for processing databases, advances in databases, right? And then the knowledge discovery process, how it is going to happen, different steps. We will discuss even about the big data analytics and all other things, okay? And one more concept, which is a very important concept that is ruling the world, I didn't tell you. Of course, that explicitly is not included in your syllabus, but to deal with the data warehousing concept, that is also needed. Entrepreneur Resource Planning Package. That is one thing. ERP it is called. Have you ever heard of that one? Have you ever heard of that name of ERP? Can anybody say about ERP? What is your idea like? Yes, please.
It's a software package which is installed in the organizations for dealing their accounts, like it is specially designed for a particular organization to deal with their database and only for them.
You are okay with some concept of it, okay? I don't expect that you should give a very right answer. At least I appreciate that you have attempted. But what you said is partially correct. Okay. What this entrepreneur resource planning package is, I told you in the 50s and in 70s and 80s, we had conventional database management system, right? And Oracle has become very popular in 90s. And to deal with any corporate sector project, because I told you the project implementation means the total automation and a paperless office kind of scenario. That is what is required, I told you, right? For dealing with stuff. So in such case, if you want to have a paperless office, I told you the modeling is ER modeling, because we are studying the forms, the reports, batch process, everything, the kind of project implementation we know. That implementation is done using the ER model and table data structure is used. Okay, using some database management system, relational database management system package, it has been implemented. So any organization requires certain reports for its understanding of the business process or information. So a lot of reports, so a lot of reports and some of the interfaces and certain procedures need to be developed for the total automation of the company. So in order to do that, let us suppose there are around 5 to 10,000 tables depicting your business. So you have to do ER modeling with around 10,000 tables or 5,000 tables, let us say. Then you have to understand the entire business process logic to generate all these reports and all, right? So typically for any kind of corporate bank or an insurance company, the project duration used to be 3 to 4 years for the entire development. And meanwhile, there will be a business process logic change because added business will be there or there will be a change in the business due to the policy issues. So in such case, again you have to remodel those reports and everything. Okay. So then people thought this is going to be a very expensive proposal for doing this kind of thing. And everybody should be very well familiar with the functionality of that entire business. You are just developing a banking software means you should be very, very thorough with all the banking procedures. From loans, hiring, deposits or whatever it is, securities, stocks, everything. You should have very strong functional knowledge for that. So what people thought was, in order to have an efficient implementation, what they did was, they have standardized the entire business process in consultation with subject experts and all. Then they developed the package Entrepreneur Resource Planning Packages, ERP they call it. So suppose for your organization, she said, what you said is partially right. You said the entire accounts will be customizedly implemented for that organization. But the thing is, what they do is, using the standard account practices that are there, prevailing at that point of time in society, the package will be developed. So whatever standard reports are needed, whatever things are needed, all those things will be developed and that standard package will be there. So if you require around 2000 tables for that specific module, all those 2000 tables will be available. What are all the standard reports you expect? Okay. So those packages will be developed and ready-made, it will be there. Then if that is there, what is the implementation of ERP then? But your business process will not be the very standard business process, right? So you will have your package required. So, but here what you can do is, you can customize this package. You will study the standard behavior of the package. So, whatever deviations are there in your business requirement, you will note down those business requirements and you will not do requirement analysis. You will do something called the fit gap analysis there. That means how the standard package is, what are the changes in those aspects with reference to your business process. So those changes will be taken care and the existing reports or existing tables, they will be just altered to cater your needs. You got your point? You got my point? So because of this, what happens is the implementation duration, because you did not build everything from scratch, you will be customizing the existing stuff. The basic building blocks were built. So the typical development time has come down to almost 1.5 to 2 years against 4 years. Almost 50% to 65% reduction was there in the project implementation duration, because the time of implementing the project is very, very, very important. You know, if you look at the competitive world in the New York, Wall Street and all, suppose you are working for a financial firm, I tell you, suppose the stock market prediction, suppose you are working, some decision you deliver correctly before some half an hour than some other company, you can gain millions. Because you will release a decision saying that yes, this stock is going to fall in an hour. So whatever stocks you have, you sell them right now and buy them after 1 hour, suppose you predict it. And suppose somebody believes in your prediction and he sells out of some 10,000 stocks at 200 rupees now, immediately. And after an hour, it is going to come down to 150 rupees, let us suppose. You buy again at 150. So you gained how much? Some 10,000 stocks, 10,000 into 50. Yes. That much is the profit for you in an hour. But provided you predict it very accurately. So the decision making in financial or banking sector or these corporate sectors, if you are able to deliver the project even a day before, it is highly advantageous for the organization. If you deliver before deadline, you will have a special reward for that. That is how you will be. Okay. So that is the kind of competitive world you have, because we are habituated for a very leisure thing. Okay, study for a couple of hours, go for a movie, enjoy with friends and all. That's not the kind of scenario. The corporate sector is such a kind of issue. You will be on your toes for the things. Okay. So that is how the entrepreneur resource planning packages have come into picture. So they accumulate massive data related to your entire organization. So there will be different modules. You will have a financial module, accountancy module, then material management module, inventory module, payroll module, benefits administration module, like whatever. Because why I'm talking to you about ERP is, you have the data integration one step. I tell that I will explain you. So if you have idea about ERP, you will understand why that data integration is needed. So as a multi-purpose thing, I'm talking to you about that. Because unless you know how the real world scenario is, you can't understand the concept. And this is not written in any of the books. So that's the reason why, please listen to me carefully. So in ERP system, these are all different modules. And different modules are being developed by different companies on different database platforms. Okay. Oracle has got a very popular strong ERP in financials. It's called Oracle Financials. And before 10 years before, there was a software called PeopleSoft. It is still there, but it is procured by Oracle again. That was very strong for HR benefits and other things. And SAP is another very strong popular ERP implemented in India. It is implemented in steel plant. Vizag steel plant is implemented. It's implemented in, I think, in Nagarjuna fertilizers also it is implemented. I'm not sure. I think it is there, but in steel plant it is very much there. So these packages, so this is very powerful for sales and distribution and material management and kind of things. SAP is very strong. Okay, so these are implemented based on different, because at any point of time down the line database is needed. So some can be implemented on Oracle, some will be implemented on Ingress, some will be on DB2. Different platforms will be there. Based on different platforms, these ERP packages will be developed. Okay. So now the entire information related to your organization is there in ERP packages now. Because majority, if you look at any big organization, they are going for almost ERP implementation. No organization has got just a conventional simple Oracle system. Maybe for one or few small modules it might be, but different modules again they follow different ERP systems. That is there. Okay. So that is how the scenario is. So now here, of course, yesterday also I told you, your given input is the database online transaction processing system. So your online transaction processing system, before in 80s it there simply using a database, plain database kind of thing. But subsequently it is there adopting the ERP systems. So you have SAP integrated to Informatica and Cognos, the warehousing tools. So that kind of integration things are there now. That's why I just told you. Okay. So it will be there in ERP systems. And in ERP also, you have different modules implemented on different platforms. And if you look at a very big corporate sector, you will have certain modules implemented still on conventional COBOL file processing system. Still conventional COBOL and DB2 database is there. Still certain modules will be there on legacy mainframe systems. They are continuing. Some modules, not all. And some majority online transaction, I am telling you again, reiterating, online transaction processing systems. Your online transaction processing means your day-to-day operations, the software packages that perform your day-to-day operations, they are the online transaction processing systems. Okay, they are there on your ERP system. Some of them are there on ERP system. Some are there on the legacy mainframes. Okay, and different packages will be there for different modules. I told you sales and distribution, material management, you might be adopting SAP. For payroll, HR and benefits, you are implementing PeopleSoft. And for your financials, then asset management, general ledger, these modules are implemented using Oracle Financials. So in the same organization, you have multiple systems, heterogeneous systems that are being organized to implement the package, implement the total online transaction processing system. That means your day-to-day running system. Okay. So that is your database aspect. Okay. It's on mainframe because if that unit 17 number. See, if you look at this picture, okay, in this picture if you look at, you have flat file, you have database, they are connected to the data warehouse. See, in the previous one you have only the database connected, right? You have the flat files connected. Why the flat files? What is a flat file? Do you have an idea? Huh? What is meant by a flat file and why do I use a flat file? Because these are the additional concepts you have to understand. That's why I'm introducing you to the things. Okay. What happens is a flat file means it is a simple suppose you have implemented your system in Oracle, let us suppose. Okay. So I'm maintaining your employee information. My dear friends, even the affiliated colleges and all, I'm telling you, this is the information not available in any of the books. Please listen to it carefully, and if you have any doubts, you raise here itself to the possible extent. Otherwise, don't hesitate to email me your doubts so that I will clarify you in future. Because I am laying the foundation for you to understand the concept. I am laying the foundation for you to understand the concept with clarity. So listen to me very carefully and raise any of your doubts itself if you are not able to follow. Don't hesitate. Okay? So now, what is meant by flat file and what is the need of a flat file, right? A flat file is a simple text file that consists of some information. Then you may say, how does a text file consist of the information needed for me? That's the obvious question you'll have, right? Thing is, suppose you are implementing your payroll on your machine. It's a Oracle machine. You are implementing payroll, fine, using Oracle database. Every month your payroll will be run. You will have some tax deductions, right? The tax deduction should be paid to income tax department, right? And you will have some provident fund deduction. Do you agree? Provident fund deduction should be sent to the government, the provident fund agency. That will be there another office. Though it is government, you will have different sections. So you have to send them to the appropriate sections, right? So when you are going to send them to the appropriate sections, yours is Oracle database. If you give an Oracle dump, let us suppose he is implementing SAP and DB2, let us suppose. Then how your Oracle dump will be useful there? So for this, what people do is, they make a text file of data and they put a header there. They put a header saying that in the text file, their record consists of around 240 fields. First 11 fields, social security number. Then field number 12 to some 35, name of candidate. Social security number, name of the candidate. Then again from some 35 to 45, that is his gross income. And the remaining is the provident fund deduction. The deduction in this month is this, so far is this, like it will fix up certain standard positions and without decimals it will put the amounts, and in header file it says its length is 10 and from right you count 2 decimal places for that, and blanks are 0 added. For character data they are blank padded, something, it gives the information, right? So they become a they form a text file with all this data, and those records will be sent to the agency. Because any text file processing is very common, right? So then the other agency looks at the header. Okay, the first, this is source agreement, this is this. So they will write another procedure to extract data from this flat file. So they get the substrings, then convert into integer or float or character or something, whatever it is, and they perform the validations procedures on the data, because sometimes some wrong data might be there, right? So they validate the data because the data ranges will be given also. So validate the data and then they insert this information into their tables. Getting my point? So for such kind of interfaces. They are called interfaces. Interface means it is connecting both the systems. One is a SAP thing on DB2, another is a Oracle database thing. So how these two will be communicated? Through this flat file. This information will passed on through this flat file. So to make this flat file, what you will do? You will query your database. You get all values and you will pad it with zeros or blanks as per the requirement of the flat file, and you make a string of 240 length, and all those things you will write to the file, and then you will give the header. This is how the records are like. Is it clear to you? So sometimes for your decision making, you may not get your data not only from database system, you will have data from flat files also. Getting the point? So your data will be there from flat files or databases. That's why I changed the picture, because tomorrow, this is the picture in the textbook. If I talk to you according to the things that are there in the PPT, if I confine to that, you will have a question. What is this flat file is there? What for this is coming and all. Okay. So that is how your ERP system will be. I talked to you about ERP systems. Okay. And you will be having heterogeneous packages implemented in the same software environment here, right? Now, what is that we spoke about data warehouse yesterday? How the entire process is driven, please recollect. I told you that your aim is knowledge discovery. What is knowledge discovery means? Knowledge discovery with reference to a specific subject, basically. Your aim is to find out the interesting patterns to enhance the sales in your organization. Okay. Or suppose you are an insurance company, your aim is to retain the customers with your company by giving some incentives or something. Okay. So like this, you will have one specific aim, targeted aim, and basing on that targeted aim, you will find out where from you have to get your కాలర్ మైక్ లేదా మాట్లాడేటప్పుడు చిన్నపిల్లలు సార్ నోట్లో వేలెడితే బ్యాండ్ పెడతారు రబ్బర్ బ్యాండ్. The scenario here is you have to understand that basic concept. Now you have to figure out what are all the fields that are required for this decision making policy. What are all the fields that impact your decision making policy? So those fields you will arrive from the top. Your idea is I have to enhance the sales in my organization, or I have to retain the customers to my policy, insurance policy. So what are all the factors that has direct influence on this specific subject? You will say A, B, C, D, E, F. These are the things to be obtained. So having decided that, where is the basic data I told you? It is in the database system or flat file, right? So now you have to find out, this is the input for me. From this input, how can I get my fields? Are you getting my logic? So from this knowledge subject, you will find out what are all the fields required. So how those fields will be obtained? You will come from database. and what are the fields you need may not be there straight away in the database available. Please remember, they will not be there in the database straight away available. Then for that, you have to study the behavior of tables in the database. So which are all the fields needed for me, and what kind of further operations like summarization or some transformations I have to perform to get my required fields. Are you getting the logic? You have to decide. So from this, first of all, yesterday I told you from the point of sale transaction, what is the grain I told you, right? Grain means the elementary level record that is available. So that kind of elementary level record and whatever fields are needed, you will get from the database and flat files. You will store it in that data warehouse initially. And you have to reform that grain again. Okay? You have to reform that grain again, and you have to further roll up the data, or you have to perform certain transformations, and that data after transformation, okay, will be sent to the data mining system. A previous దాంట్లో diagram I think words clarity గా ఉన్నట్టున్నాయి కదా, ఒకసారి వెనక్కి జూమ్ చేస్తారా దీన్ని? ఓకే, జూమ్. See, the selection and transformation process is happening after the warehouse. Please remember, you have cleaning and integration from the database. I tell you how the cleaning and integration happens. I am just laying the foundation for you for everything. You listen to me carefully. Okay. Then after cleaning and transformation, you keep data to the warehouse. So first of all, what are all the components that are lying inside? You just get some clarity. Then I will explain you cleaning and integration right now only. Today only I will cover everything. Okay. So what cleaning and integration, I just tell you. From this, you will keep into the data warehouse. So that means the basic grain data that is needed to get your stuff from the top will be transferred at in warehouse. Okay. Then next step is, once the data is there in warehouse, okay, you will have selection and transformation on those things fields again further, and then that goes to the data mining system. What is this data mining system? Once your data is available, because you have to extract the knowledge. So normally you think, you see, extraction of the knowledge means you should have a higher level of abstraction. Your online transaction processing is very accurate elementary record level information. That is your day-to-day operations. But your analytical processing is for some knowledge interpretation that is based on. Suppose I tell you what is this kind of thing means. People say, yes, people from Andhra Pradesh, they are more entrepreneurs. People from Gujarat, they are more business oriented. Like, right? You have certain norms set, right? Why do you say that? Because from Andhra Pradesh, they are more entrepreneurs, the business side and all. The technical business or software side, they are more entrepreneurs. And if you consider Gujarati people, they are into basic business. If you consider Punjabis, they are into automobile business and like some people are popular for certain things. IT means majority from Andhra Pradesh people will be there. Why you say that? That means every Andhra Pradesh person is an IT professional? No. Because what they do is they analyze the data, statistics from that, and say these people are like this. People from Guntur, very arrogant. People from East Godavari, very litigant. Okay. Like this, there are some norms. That doesn't mean every person from Guntur is arrogant and every person from East Godavari is litigant. Because they see majority of the things and interpret something. Okay. Just don't, and not to hurt your feelings, I just casually said. Okay. That's why I included my district also, East Godavari. So you will have that kind of generalization. So how do you arrive at generalization? By aggregating the information. How can you aggregate the information? You will have basic elementary route information from Andhra Pradesh. Yes, some 100,000 people went was this year. Out of 100,000, some 60,000 went to IT profession. Remaining 20,000 went to automobile. Again, some other went to pharmacy. Like so, before last year it is like this. So from that they say that people from AP will generally go for IT. That doesn't mean everybody should. It's a kind of prediction, probability analysis. It's not the accurate value. To say that 80% of people from AP go to IT means every year it is not hard and fast rule that if 1000 are there, 800 should essentially go to IT, right? So for that you have to have the data at a higher level of abstraction. You have to summarize the stuff. So based on your application, the data mining techniques like association rule mining or classification or clustering. So different techniques will be applied on to the data. And then on that summarized processed data that passes through the data mining system, you can get the pattern behavior. Pattern behavior in the sense from that data after consolidation and all, you will draw either a pie chart or a bar chart or whatsoever it is. You will do it and you will then interpret the results. Because just by looking at even the table of contents, you cannot interpret the things. For somebody to interpret, you should have either a pie chart or bar chart or whatever is some graphical user interface representation has to be there for a visualization. Do you agree? So the visualization comes in the last stage. So that visualization is nothing but your knowledge. Again, once you identify patterns, you will get some relevant, irrelevant patterns also. From the business process logic, you have to eliminate the irrelevant patterns. A simple example is, suppose you solve a quadratic equation. So you get two sets of answers, right? One set of answer might be irrelevant for you from the business logic. One set of answer might having negative values, another set is having positive values. So suppose your data says that no negative values are permitted in data set. You will eliminate the solution with the negative value. You will take the positive stuff. In a similar way, in the pattern analysis also, you will have multiple patterns out of which you have to consider only the valid patterns as per your business process logic. Getting my point? So that is how this system is. Now, what is this cleaning and integration? What is this selection and transformation? These are the two more concepts I need to explain. Now I am coming to your cleaning and integration. Okay. In cleaning and integration, what is the necessity of cleaning the data? Okay. So to clean the data, okay. See, from the database you are getting this information inside. And I told you you are implementing ERP. So your data will not be there in a single location. You have to get data from different locations because you will get data from your Europe headquarters, India headquarters, some China headquarters, some Asian headquarters, Australian headquarters, and will be consolidated. Okay. So when you are transferring the data across this network, okay, when you are transferring the data across this network, there is every chance of bits mismatch. Suppose 0 once they get toggled, your values have changed, right? There will be a packet loss. When there is a packet loss, certain fields will not be transmitted. Kada? You know pretty well in the computer networks you study, some packet loss will be there, right? And sometimes the parity will mismatch will be there across the data. You have certain parity checks. Let us suppose it has to follow even parity, I said. If if there is a mistake in one bit, even parity may become odd. But there is an error in 2 bits and still the parity can be maintained, right? So certain times this you will have missing data, corrupted data that is being transmitted across. So that need to be cleaned. So how do you clean that data? In your next chapter, you have data cleaning and other processes. Normally use some interpolation methods to predict the missing values. Some statistical methods are there to do that. Because you go ahead with these missing values or erroneous values. Let us suppose some missing values are. Suppose you think that okay, the missing value is 0, you imagine. That may go wrong. If you have many zeros in that, your logic will go wrong because what is this? This is a higher level statistics abstraction. So the real value is 60 and as the value is missing, if you replace it by 0, your results will be wrongly interpreted. Do you agree? So you have to deal with such kind of missing values very much. Okay. And then, so the cleaning is required here. Now, what is meant by integration? I told you just before when talking to ERP, I said different modules will be on different heterogeneous systems, right? So, but when you are implementing your entire knowledge process, it should be on a common platform, right? So that means you need to integrate that data because in some place the measure could be inches, some place it is meters, centimeters, okay, and the data representation on one database is different. The date representation is different, numeric representation is different. Using different codes you will be different representations, right? So all those representations need to be aligned. So you have to have a common platform, you have to transform the data. So, and you have to integrate different modules to get the common data. Because for the same field, somebody may say in his table employee ID. Somebody may say EMPL ID. Somebody will say MP ID. But all the values, they represent the employee identification number only. Okay. So like this, there might be a mismatch in the field name, but the field could be identified. Right? So you have to be very, very careful with all those things. And you have to integrate the data, you have to transform the data, you have to clean the data once you are extracting it from these legacy systems. So that is your cleaning and integration part. Is it clear to you now? Why you require cleaning and integration? My dear friends from the colleges, please, if you have any ambiguity regarding this, please raise your hands or please mail me for any kind of doubts or queries. Okay. Then that goes to the data warehouse after this cleaning and transformation part. Then selection and transformation. I told you, you need to transform values. In the example which I am going to talk little later, you will know what is this transformation that is taking. So you have to have selection, the data, select, and you have to transform those fields that are ready for mining. So the data mining algorithms will be applied based on the type of data, based on the knowledge you require. You will use the appropriate data mining techniques. And after those mining techniques, the pattern evaluation will take place and the relevant knowledge will be extracted in the knowledge mining process. Are you clear with the diagram now? Next. In the knowledge discovery process, you have 7 steps. One is data cleaning. Remove noise and inconsistent data. Now you got an idea how you will get noise and inconsistent data, right? And second is data integration, where multiple data sources may be combined. Okay. And data selection. Data selection means where data relevant to the analysis task are retrieved from the database. That retrieval process is the selection process. And data transformation, where data are transformed or consolidated into forms appropriate for mining by performing summary or aggregation operations. The summary and aggregation are some operations I am telling. Okay. Data mining. This is an essential process where intelligent methods are applied in order to extract data patterns. That is classification, clustering, association rule mining kind of things. And pattern evaluation to identify the truly interesting patterns representing knowledge, because you come across different patterns based on some interestingness measure. And knowledge presentation, where the visualization and knowledge representation techniques are used to present the mind knowledge to the user. That is also important. That is either as a graph or a pie chart or bar chart. I tell you, the pattern evaluation, we said that we have to get the relevant patterns. Because I tell you a funny story in this regard. Okay. You know Thomas Alva Edison, who invented the electrical bulb and all. Okay. He is very much habituated to experiment from his childhood onwards. Okay. So he was observing everything in nature. One day he was observing the birds. Birds are flying. So he wanted to correlate why the birds are flying, why not human beings. So he observed the birds from the morning till evening and observed everything what they're doing. Then he noticed, yes, they are waking up in the morning. We are also waking up in the morning. We are also moving, they are also moving. Then he found that from the dust, he found that the bird is eating some small insects. So then he correlated everything and thought, okay, we are not eating any insects and all. The only difference is that the bird is eating insects. So perhaps that is the difference. So we also can fly if you eat insects. Okay, decided. Then he collected few insects from the dust. So he made a juice out of it, grinding them. And he called his servant maid, another girl only, and said, see, I have found a medicine. if you drink this, you can fly like a bird. And that poor girl thought, okay, I'll fly like a bird. And she got excited and took this. And immediately she had vomitings and everything. And then people, her parents have come and beaten this fellow. Okay. See, he's a scientist. That's why he didn't experiment on him. He called someone and experimented. Okay. So he found a pattern that is different from others, but it's not a useful pattern. Okay. So if you give wrong interpretation like this, sometimes it might lead to shutting down the entire organization. Okay. So don't do that if you're an analyst. Okay. Go for the real interesting patterns. Right. Now coming back to our business. Next slide. Here I'm talking to you a practical example. Is in fact this was implemented by me in the corporate sector. This is regarding the customer retention aspect in the healthcare insurance. Normally, we are not much aware of the healthcare insurance. Normally, what happens is the healthcare insurance policies were floated by different companies. So they give different options for different prices. So some companies give, okay, if you have family, children and all, you are very frequently visiting the doctor and all, some kind of policies will be there. You may end up paying little more insurance, but still how many times you visit the doctor and all, they don't bother. And some policies will be there. If you never use that claim, your claim amount will be doubled for the same premium. Sorry, your coverage will be doubled for the same premium. There are some kind of policies. Some kind of policies are there. If you never claim, your policy amount reduces. Like some policies. Now, based on the specific requirements, each person will choose a kind of policy. So, here the thing is, they have the company for which I worked have around 150,000 people at that instance enrolled for their policies. And periodically every month you have to send some standard information that, okay, these are the people in the policy. These are all the claims by the person in this month or week. And this is the premium paid by him this week. Because from their monthly pay or bi-monthly pay, the insurance amount will be deducted. So that kind of information is to be sent in form of flat files to the company. Because you are the employer, you have around 50,000 employees in your organization. For all of them and for their children, you provide insurance. So from their salary, you will deduct the insurance amounts and all. If you are making any claims, that amount and all you will say. Okay. So all the information you have to periodically send to the insurance provider. As if for the PF agency you are sending the provident fund amounts. Right? Every week you have to send. So from this information, what you will know? How many times a person has, how many dependents he has got, how much claim he made, how many times he made the claims, what is the insurance he is paying. And what happens is every year you enroll into some new policy. Next year you may see that, okay, this policy is not good for me. Like you may change your policy by next year, depending on your requirements and all. You may change the policy for two reasons. One is it's not useful for you, it's not fulfilling your requirements, or some other policy might be better suited than this for your requirement. This policy is okay, but you have a much better policy that is catering your needs. Okay. Suppose I tell you, you are a single person, not having any claim of insurance from past 5 years. Still you end up paying some 100 rupees per month towards your insurance. Then you may think that I have paid every 5 years, every month 100 bucks. It's a waste for me. Why should I pay like you may feel? So if the insurance company says that, okay, if you have no claims for 3 years, premium will be reduced from 100 rupees to 30 rupees if you say. Then you may say, okay, it's bare minimum 30, no issue. We can pay like you may feel and retain with him. So they want to study first of all the behavior of customers based on the group behavior. So how do they classify the customers is the customers who are faithful with my policy for several years. The people they are there with my policy for 1 or 2 years, again jumping to another policy, again coming back to me, back and forth people jumping, and some people who never opt for my policy. Okay. So they want to classify the people like 3 categories. Then on each category, they will make a study that okay, for this category, suppose oscillatory category is there, it is better to convince them to retain with you. So you have to analyze for what reason this man is oscillating from me. Right? So if you satisfy him, they will stay with you. And if somebody is staying for a long time, if you give some more incentives to him, he may feel like staying with you. Like for 5 years you are with my policy and you never had a claim. Then okay, give him the policy for 30% of the price. For another 3 years you say that. For 3 more years he will stick to at 30 rupees premium. He will not go away from it. Right? So like this you have to have a decision making. So how do you go about it? Then how do you extract the things? So the fields that are for required from online application database for this are the social security number, of course last name, first name and date of birth, the gender, marital status, the address, the coverage end date of the plan, date on which you are hired into the job. Benefit plan means a plan that covers what are all benefits you have. It's called benefit plan. And coverage, the beginning date of the coverage and ending date. Because an insurance policy will have beginning date and end date for the policy. And new employee indicator. That means are you a new employee joined this month? Because every month one employee will be joining, right? If you are afresh this time, a new employee indicator. Terminated employee indicator. That means in this week, you are terminated from service. Then that indicator. Employee coverage indicator. Coverage indicator means his spouse is covered or children are covered. Is only a self coverage kind of. And spouse coverage indicator, child coverage indicator. So employee self coverage. Sometimes the employee may say, I don't want coverage, give coverage to my spouse and children individually who are all covered in this category. So these are the fields needed for you to basically needed for you to interpret some information about any insurance policy, right? Do you agree with me? So these are the fields required. That means these fields will be there in your, where do they reside? Warehouse. These are the fields you have to push to the warehouse. Next slide, please. I'll show you then. So the above said fields, where are they available? Because they are not available in a single table, right? So these are your PS personal data, dependent beneficiary, benefit program participation, disability, health benefit, benefit plan table, persons and elements, social security number table, and job table means your service record kind of thing. That's called job table. Health dependent, that means who are all the dependents of you on the health benefits. Your benefits definition plans, what are the things? Dependent beneficiaries, social security numbers, and employment means your employment record, what is your date of birth, your joining, service joining date, all will be there in employment. Your job is service register. When do you get increment? What happened to you? Everything. Your every transaction in the your job will be there in job table. Okay. So these are different tables from which you have to get those fields. That means they are the fields required for warehouse, but they are not available in a single table. They are available in different tables. So you have to make a selection operation from these tables, and you have to get those fields. Okay. Because what is your aim basically? Customer retention. So for customer retention means, how do you get the customer retention aspect? You have to classify all the persons in your total database as loyal customers, oscillatory customers, never opting customers to your policy. Because I tell you, for these employees, what happens, I told you, there are 10 insurance companies offering their policies. So these 10 insurance companies come to the employer and say, for your employees, these are the benefit plans we have. So your employees can choose one of the plans. Like, so this year you may choose LIC policy. Next year you feel that LIC policy is not good, you will go for Star Health. Then after that, age insurance may come with a better plan. So after that year, you may opt for age insurance plan. So in your these tables, you will have 2010-11 with whom you have the plan, 11-12 with whom you have the plan, 12-13 with whom you have the plan. So from 2010 onwards till 2015, if you are with the same company, means you are very loyal. So 2010-11, you are with this company. Then 12-13 you are away from the company. Again 13-14 you are with this company. Then you are an oscillatory kind of customer. Got the point? So you have to segregate the employees based on different parameters, right? Then after this segregation, classification, then you will study the group behavior. Why these people are more stable with me? Because these people has got A, B, C, D, E, these features. Because of this, they are stable. The other kind of people, they are unstable because of so and so reasons. For these reasons, they are oscillatory. Like you will have the information. So these are different tables. Next slide. The information required for decision support system consists of the following fields. Finally, your record ID, employee ID, dependent ID, age group, income range. I'm talking to you yesterday. I was talking to you yesterday, right? You have to have some higher level of abstraction. Okay. Claim type. What is the claim type they have? Okay. And health status. What is the health status of each and every person? Then current continuous stay and total stay. These are two things we made the fields. What is the current continuous stay? That means from now onwards, how long you are, suppose today you are with this policy. From now onwards, how long you are with this policy. That means suppose I have data from 2005 onwards. From 2005 to 2010 you are there with my company policy. But in 2010 you left. Again 2013 you came to my policy. So I cannot say that you are with my policy. If I say that for 7 years you are with my policy, that gives a wrong impression, right? Because you are there with from 2005 to 10, for some reason you went away from me in 10 and you are away with me for 3 years. That means you are not satisfied with me for 3 years. After that again you came to me in 13. Now you are with me. So there are certain reasons for that. So I have to say, because suppose you joined me only this year, let us suppose. You left me in 2010 and 2010 onwards you are not there with me. This year only have to my place. Come to me. Then if I say that this person is with my policy for 6 years, that makes no sense because past is past for some reason. But currently for 5 years you are not there and again you have come. So that component will be hidden. So that is the reason why we made a field as current continuous state. From now onwards, going back, how long you are there with me continuously. That is one aspect. And the total state. Total state also plays some role. The total state of me. And oscillatory indicator or chaotic indicator. What is meant by this oscillatory indicator? You are there with my policy before, left me and came back. You made one oscillation. Again you left me and came back means second oscillation. So that shows how oscillatory you are with reference to your policy. So these are all the factors that influence your decision support, right? So that's why for customer retention, these are all the things needed. But these will be derived from the previous fields, warehouse fields. But those fields are available from those 14 database tables. Is it clear to you now? The database is how the things are. Now come to the next slide. You just go ahead. Go ahead. Skip this slide. Again, skip this slide. Next, skip this. Yes. This is like your star schema we made. Okay. See, I told you those 14 table names I have given now, right? So these are those 14 tables I am depicting. So these 14 tables consist of your database. From these 14 tables, you have to write a procedure to extract the fields that I mentioned before. After finding out those fields, go back in the current continuous state చూపించాను కదండి అక్కడికి వెళ్ళండి. నెక్స్ట్ ఓకే నో నెక్స్ట్ ముందుకు next. Yes. So here if you require the current continuous state and total state, how do you get it? Do you get it straight away? No, you will not get. So you have to get the fields from the database. You have to calculate that. Oscillatory indicator you have to calculate. Okay. And current continuous state means you have to calculate. How do you know that this year you are there? Last year are you there? Yes, you are there. So 1 plus 1. Before last year you are there. That plus 1. 3. Yes. After that you are not there. So your current continuous state is 3. So you have to compute those fields. They are not directly available. So that is the kind of transformation you are performing on the thing, and you will be getting the fields here. Is it okay for you? Now you have got some practical idea, right? So how the database tables are there. Incidentally, on this you don't require any cleaning strategy and all, because this is obtained from the same ERP tables. So you don't have any issue of integration or data cleaning, because this is taken from the single source. But suppose if you are getting data transferred across the network and you are clubbing everything and all, you will have the packet loss, data loss, all those things. Okay. I hope you are clear now with this example, right? How the process. So now you skip everything. Next. The blue part under this. Next. So I just made a graphical representation of this. Actually, without a data warehouse building, this was adopted is because why I'm just showing this graph is yesterday some of your classmates raised a question that you have the database here itself. why can't you get the data straight away from database? Why do you need to maintain a warehouse? You can go ahead with that, right? Every time you can just query that and get the information. For that, this is the answer. Because what happens is, every time you start querying for your data from the legacy database system, that querying process will be very, very expensive. So the first model I have shown in green is using the traditional query model without having your star schema, your warehouse. Each time the data is continuously loaded and that is being updated, and that was taking initially, see, for number of records in 2000, for 1000 records we tried, it is almost the same. As the number of records are increasing, see 90,000, 100,000 we went. I think we have experimented on about 125,000 or 140,000 records. Laksha 45 records we have 1,40,000 records experimented. When it is experimented, see the processing time is more than 100. It is almost 50% in this. Okay. So that's the reason why you have to load the web because the overheads will be for each time you get. Okay. This is like you are performing a cooking operation. Suppose you want to cook rice. Okay. So you went to the stores and brought the rice. Then afterwards again you forgot you want to cook dal. Again go to the store and get dal. Right? But instead you go to the store and get what are all the items you need for today's cooking. It is more efficient. So you can go to the next slide. So the actual background for this project is this is being because by that time I was not working on any ERP. I was working, not working on any warehouse. I was working on an ERP module only. So what happened was the insurance annuities, I tell you, every week you have to send the insurance. It's a very important interface to be sent to the insurance provider. Okay. So what happened was it is taking around 72 minutes to extract the data. It is taking 72 minutes to extract the data from all these systems because you have the coverage indicators are there, child coverage indicator, new employee indicator or old employee indicator. So in order to know whether he is a new employee or not, what is that you are supposed to do is you have to go to the database, your name is here. So you have to check for your previous record. You don't have any previous record, this is the first record only, you will know that this is the one. So with a kind of OR clause, with kind of union operations, you have to perform lot of operations on this, and it was developed using that. So it has become very expensive. Okay. It has to join the tables. And another issue there is you have to send the information based in the sorted order of social security number. Because in your employee ID is valid, but outside your social security number is valid. Because you are sending to the outside agent. So in such case, it was almost hanging up. So it was given to the database administrators to tune this. Because the package developed already, the program. But even the database administrators, by adjusting the table spaces and all, they could maximum bring down it from 72 minutes to 66 minutes or 67 minutes. Beyond that, they could not reduce the execution. But the infrastructure team has fixed the execution time as 35 minutes. We can't spare 70 minutes. Let it be down by 30. So these people struggled for more than 7-8 months and there is no solution. Then this job was entrusted to me to deal with. Then I felt what is the problem? It's not just merely by adjusting the table space or things. You have to have some specific means to deal with. First of all, you should create new indices, new thing for this. And you should have old system and new system every 15 days the data changes you should maintain. And from there, if you go ahead with things, you will get. So let us have a temporary table that holds the exact task relevant data. So what is there in the temporary table star schema was the task relevant data. So the task relevant data, let us get it. And instead of querying the database each time for one specific task, let us study the entire business process. What are all the fields required from the tables? Let us query only once because this comes through network, right? So the network traffic is every time you post the query end. So once you post the query to the database, that network traffic reduces. And by this star schema kind of thing, the joins were reduced and you are able to comfortably get the performance. And it has come down to 42 minutes. Then they said that is fine, we are satisfied because we could not get 30, but still it is a substantial reduction. So we have to revamp the entire old code and I have to design the entire new set of work. So you will face this kind of challenges in your job when you are going. That's why I thought when you asked for a practical example, I thought I'll show you this example. And ERP is a very lucrative area still even today. There you will have the highest pay. So your data analytics positions, ERP positions, and all they are very lucrative, challenging. Suppose if a normal Java developer gets $50 an hour, an ERP person will get $120. That is the kind of pay difference with ERP. And if you are a data analyst also, you will get similar kind of. So that's why I'm telling you what you are doing is up to fourth year first semester you are very sincere. Once you get some job in TCS, you are very happy, you stop studying. But you are forgetting that just TCS job alone is not the criteria for you. There is much more bigger world where sky is the limit. In TCS, just if you do not go do well, you will be there just like that in the maintenance for several years. After that, you may get bored and you may resign the job and look for a better pay. But if you are a good analyst, server side processing, analysis, and sky is the limit for you. See, people are getting 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs per annum packages with Google and all. And just see, being the cream, because unless you get very good rank, you are not coming over here, right? But still, are just satisfied with this. That's why I'm telling you, see how the world is outside. That at this young age, you should be able to take challenges, work hard, enjoy working, enjoy the challenges in career, and grow like anything. Just don't be satisfied with simple software job. So now, what is the architecture of a typical data mining system? You know, for this process, how much I was paid? So database, now see, data warehouse, World Wide Web, other information repositories. See, the things have increased now here. You look at this. Oh, okay. You have a database, data warehouse, World Wide Web, and other information repositories. So with these things, with these 4 things, you will be getting data. Now I said, what is that you said? Flat files. Again, in certain cases, what happens is, if you have some standardized databases, centralized, you can get straight away the data from database. Sometimes you will get data from another warehouse also possible. So that is data warehouse. And World Wide Web, from World Wide Web you will have some lot of data. That is also possible. And other information repositories or flat files kind of. So you can get data from all these sources. Then you have data cleaning, integration and selection. So cleaning, integration and selection process I have already explained you. I need not subtly explain you. Now database or the data warehouse. Because please remember that yesterday somebody asked a question. Sir, what is this warehouse? How does it look like? Is it a database? Yes, it is also a database. But your warehouse is a denormalized one. In your conventional online transaction processing, you have the tables that are normalized to the third normal form to the possible extent. Some to the second normal form. Right? Second or third normal form, normalization will be there for your tables. But your data warehouse is a denormalized one. Why do you say that it is denormalized one? Because you are retrieving data from multiple tables, just pertaining to your task and dumping it there. Right? So for that reason, it is a denormalized one. Of course, when you look at the star schema in next chapters, you will get a still better idea. Okay. Now, it is from that data warehouse. And from World Wide Web also you will get some information. So you sometimes for some decision making you need to. Because I told you in previously what did I tell you? If you look at a corporate company, the corporate company will have financials in Oracle Financials, HR and all in PeopleSoft, SAP something, some other material management modules, and some stuff from the conventional mainframe legacy databases with DB2 and all. So suppose you are planning for enhancing the production, let us say. So what are all the things that will have impact on production? Your basic materials. So material management you have to have, and the cost of labor force and all. So labor management module will be there, time and labor one module will be there. So from there you have to get data. Your wages and other things from HR. Your benefits providing to the employees is also an expenditure. So what expenditure are incurring, because salary is not only the direct pay. You have indirect benefits and also from benefit module you have to get data. Because what is the consolidation for production? You are paying your revenues from these things, your financial management module you have to have data. From your time and labor you have to have data. From your inventory you have to have data. From your material management you have to have data. So all these things have a consolidated influence on your total production, right? Because production cost dependent on labor cost, material cost, maintenance cost, employee salaries, employee benefits, right? And all other financial taxes you pay, and what are all assets you procure for this on assets management. So from all these modules you have to get data. So obviously you have to have data cleaning strategies and all, and you have to have integration. Do you agree? So and then some selections you have to make any. Okay. So once this is there, you will be storing on a database or a data warehouse. Even data warehouse is also a database based. Okay. So database or data warehouse server you call it. So onto that server, the entire information is being kept. And that is being given to the data mining engine. And what is this knowledge base? Pattern evaluation, you have bidirectional thing, and you have an user interface. This is almost analogous to that, but only one concept I have to explain you here is that knowledge base is appearing to be new for you. What is this data mining engine? Your warehouse server is nothing but warehouse. Data mining engine means that data will be sent to the data mining engine for a classification or clustering or pattern analysis kind of thing. Then you get the groups of data for your behavioral study. From there you go for pattern evaluation. Now what is this knowledge base in between? Knowledge base is there in between to extract the task, the logical information for the interestingness measures. Which patterns are useful? Because you should not derive the patterns like if you eat creatures, you will fly in the air. Like, okay. Such pattern should be eliminated. So your knowledge base is helpful there for avoiding unnecessary patterns that are not relevant to your business process. So the business process knowledge is there in the knowledge base, because everything is finally the business requirement driven operation only. Okay. So that business requirement driven operation, now to see, that's why the pattern evaluation, you have a bidirectional flow. So some pattern will be evaluated, sent to the knowledge base. Knowledge base says that this is a useful pattern. Then that will be kept inside. If the knowledge base says that it is a useless pattern, that will be removed. Again, data mining engine, you need a bidirectional flow, and warehouse and mining engine, you need a bidirectional flow. Because from this you have to get data, you have to transfer that back again. Then that will be given to the user interface finally. This is your architecture of a typical data mining system. Is it okay for you? So I will stop here, and rest of the things we'll see.